Hey there, clan, and welcome to my experiences. I really don't know what I'll call this series. It's a series of videos that I've done before where I basically tell my experience with a particular game franchise or developer, in all honesty. And I've only done it with BioWare, with the Mass Effect series, and the Dragon Age series in the past. As most of you know, that's probably the developer that kind of got me into gaming a lot more hardcore than I was before. But I thought since we're exactly 1 week away from the release of The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, I thought I'd give my experiences with CD Projekt Red and the Witcher franchise. But if we're going to be doing this, I gotta make sure I'm wearing the correct attire. Or at least the correct neckwear. So, let the hunt begin. So, firstly, I guess I should give my experience of how I came across the Witcher franchise. It is the games that introduced me to it. I actually was following a YouTuber at the time known as Darkside Phil. Now, depending on if you like his content or not, he's a Let's Player on YouTube who I follow. He's a good Let's Player in my opinion. I admit he says some stuff that kind of annoys the hell out of me, but I still like his content. And he actually played The Witcher 2 on PC before it came out on Xbox. And I just says it looks like an interesting fantasy setting, so I watched his playthrough. I watched the entirety of the playthrough, and I instantly got hooked on the franchise and the love of the universe. As soon as I saw Geralt of Rivia, I was like, I like this guy. I like Triss. I like this world. It was just one of those instant clicks that I was like, I like this world. This is an awesome setting. I want to know more about it. Now, unfortunately, at the time, I didn't have a PC that could run The Witcher 2 on PC because it was only available on PC at the time. My PC even now probably could run The Witcher 2 on PC, but it would probably end up destroying the CPU or even the graphics card. I need to get a new graphics card. That's the main thing that's holding me back and the main reason why I can't play Witcher 3 on PC. But then, of course, Witcher 3 was coming to Xbox 360, and I was like, okay, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to play it. And now, at the time, unfortunately, I didn't actually have a lot of money, so I was probably going to have to wait. But it wasn't until, but at the time when Witcher 2 was coming out on Xbox, CD Projekt Red held a contest to give away 1,000 copies of The Witcher 2 on Xbox 360, and I won one of them. I entered it, and it says we'll get back to you roughly around about the time of release and whether or not you win it. And I actually won a copy of The Witcher 2 The Wild Hunt. Now, I'll actually see if I can find it, actually. Sorry, I actually can't seem to find my copy of Witcher 2 The Assassin of Kings. I have my room is tiny. I've probably stuck it somewhere for safekeeping, and then I forgot where I put it. I do apologise because it isn't actually like your standard copy of The Witcher 2. It's only the review copy. Basically, it's a great. It's not. It doesn't have all the special features, the special things that came with, like the map, the strategy guide. It basically is just the game and a reviewer's thing. It's basically like one of those grayscale things, and not for retail, resale, and all that kind of stuff. It is one of them. I just cannot remember where I've put it, but yeah, I won the contest, and I have to give a big thank you to my friend GamerMD83, who actually introduced me to the contest. She says, "Well, I'm going to be getting it. They're giving away a copy. Why don't you see if you can win one? I've already bought it, so enter it." And so I did. So I have to thank her for helping me get Witcher 2, and I got it, and I played the hell out of it. Pardon my language, but I fucking loved it. I fell in love with it. Even though I knew the entire story, I only knew one half of the story, which was the side if you sided with Vernon Roach. So I said, I'm going to go with the elves this time and see what that's like. And I must admit, I actually really liked the elf story a little bit more than like Vernon Roach's story, but I did eventually go back and replay and do the opposite side, and I'm probably going to stick with the elf one. Sorry, the Scoia'tael. I said with the Scoia'tael, and I actually kind of agree with what they say. And the thing is, though, when you play through, it's one of the few games where there is actually story differences on either side. You'll learn one side of the story, but then you'll learn another side of the story if you go with the other one. So it was kind of fascinating, and I really like the fact that CD Projekt Red were the ones that done that, and I absolutely love them for that. and I fell in love with the game. I even went back and played Witcher 1, but I will be honest, I found it incredibly difficult to actually go back and play it. It's just, it hadn't aged too well. The combat system was not to my liking. The graphics they were okay, they weren't fantastic. They hadn't aged well. But I could probably still go back and replay in all honesty, but I decided I couldn't go back and finish it, but I did play through at least half of it before I had to stop playing. But I absolutely loved The Witcher 2. I fell in love with it, and it just made me want to get to know the world more, which is why, after I found out it was a book series, I picked up this. I picked up The Last Wish. Now, if you follow Gamer MDA3, you know she's doing a series where she's talking about the characters. She's already done CD and Yennefer, which, by the way, I was actually going to do something very similar to that, but she did a much more better job than I, so go check that out. She explained the characters a lot better than I could. She talked 40 minutes about Yennefer. That should say everything, which I gotta say, I could talk about Yennefer for probably the same length of time. But yeah, I did pick up this book, and I read it. Now, this is basically the first of the Witcher series books, and you'll notice that this is a different cover than the American one. It actually has a model who's posing as Geralt of Rivia. So, yeah, that's what Geralt's kind of meant to look like before the games, apparently. But I fell in love with this, and I absolutely loved it. And you do see, it does say here, the best-selling novel which inspired the cult video game The Witcher. So this is roughly the cover after The Witcher came out. But I read through this, and I fell in love even more with Geralt. I absolutely loved it. I love that it's very high fantasy, but also very realistic. I actually really like that fact. I love the idea of the Witchers being hunters, so much so that I kind of in my own custom D&D setting that I'm working on, I'm actually incorporating something like the Witcher in the world. I'm still working on it, it hasn't been implemented fully, but I actually love the concept of the Witcher so much that I actually trying to create something similar to it. They're heavily inspired by it, I will happily admit. And actually thinking about maybe making a custom class in 5th edition D&D basically of The Witcher, where you are a Witcher. I really want to do that. That's how much I love it, and I absolutely fell in love with the stories in this. It's a collection of short stories, and the last one in particular, The Last Wish, which is what this book is named after, is the first introduction of Yennefer, and I fell in love with her character. I was like, I love you, darling. I want you. But yeah, I absolutely fell in love with her, and I loved it. I absolutely loved this book, and I love the universe that Andrzej Sapkowski, I believe is how you pronounce it, and someone's told me how to pronounce his name before, and I always butcher it, but I love the world that he's created. It's probably one of my favourite fantasy settings, in all honesty. I love Lord of the Rings, but I actually think I prefer the Witcher setting a lot better. Now, before anyone asks, I do have another book, which is Blood Elves. This is the first in the Witcher saga, I think it is. I'm about halfway through it, and I've been halfway through it for the past several months. Unfortunately, when it comes to books, I'm a slow-ass reader, and I will it could take me months to finish a book. I'll actually start a book, and then I'll put it down, and then I won't pick it up for quite a while afterwards. And then I will go back to it. I've done that with a lot of books. I've done that. At the moment, I currently have 1, 2, 3 books, 4 if you include the Sherlock books, which I'm reading very, very slowly, that I'm in the middle of reading that I just haven't gone back to. Now, I am going to try and finish this before Witcher 3 comes out, but in all honesty, you don't need to read the books to understand the Witcher games. It just gives you a bit of a sense. But I am about halfway through Blood Elves, and I am still really enjoying this. This is a story, basically, instead of short stories. And this introduces Trish, Geralt, and of course, CD as a character. In fact, CD is a prominent character in this book, and I really, really, really do like the way that she's portrayed in this book as a young girl. But yeah, I am going to be reading the entire Witcher saga when I eventually can. Unfortunately, I'm a last reader, so for anyone asks that, I'm reading this very, very slow, but I would still recommend these books. These are very good. I also love that the fantasy is heavily inspired by Norse and Polish, and also some Gallic as well. There's a little bit in there, but yeah, it shows that I was willing to go and read books, basically, how much I loved the Witcher games, that made me want to go and find out more about the world about it, and I absolutely fell in love with the experience. I love the characters. There's no such... In the Witcher world, no one is good. Everyone is good to an extent, but there's no such thing as the hero, basically. There's the hero is someone who dies like in first... The hero is someone who would die in like 10 minutes in the Witcher world, because everyone loves a hero, but they'll soon just tell him to turn on his back. Even Geralt is not a hero. Like, no matter, in no sense of the word is he a hero. In a way, he's a mercenary, which is exactly what a Witcher is. You pay him money, he does a job, you pay him, or he fucks your shit up. But he does have his own personality and all that, so I do like that. Geralt is one of the few characters that I would definitely say is more in the line of neutral. He has things that he disagrees with and agrees with, but if you pay him money, he will go and do a task for you and complete it to the satisfaction, and then maybe if he didn't like you too much, he might maybe fuck you over a little bit. If you're a good person and you ask, like, there's a bunch of drowers attacking the fishermen. We have some money for you. Here's some money. If you go take care of them, please. And he'll go and do it. He'll come back. He'll take the money. And if you treat them well and you're very respectful, he's fine with that. If you're a dick to him and you say, I need you to go and kill this monster over there, he's a bit of an arsehole, he's been a bit of a problematic, Geralt will go there, deal, but he'll probably charge you 10 times the price he would normal. He might fuck you over a little bit, but Geralt is actually a really fascinating character and I really do like him. And I just love the way he's evolved over time, and I really am fascinated to see where the story goes from here. And I also like the world that it does try and paint, that the world is slightly different than you think. Everything is not as you perceive it. Everything is what you don't expect it to be in The Witcher. I kind of see is something may seem evil, but then you find out more about it and it's not evil. You have to make judgment calls. You have to go, okay, for example, in The Witcher 2, there is a elf girl who's being harassed by men. These men are basically saying, this girl led our men into a cave and they died because of her. She's a Scoia'tael spy. And this woman's like, no, I'm not a Scoia'tael spy. These men harassed me and some other things. And then you go to the cave, you investigate it, and you have to make a bit of a judgment call. These men will seem to have been killed by creatures. But there is some evidence to lead to the fact that she may have led them here. There is actual evidence to that she may have been involved in some way. But you have to go with a judgment call. And if you choose to say, yeah, it looks like she might have led them in there, or that she isn't involved, and then it turns out she actually was a Scoia'tael spy, and you're like, fuck, damn it, and then she's gone. I love that. I really do like that you have to make a judgment call. There really is no good or evil, it's just like your perspective, in all honesty. I also like how they handle consequences, especially in Witcher 1 actually handled one. In Witcher 1 there's a particular part where you have to decide to either give supply. Basically a merchant asks you to go and kill some drowners that are harassing something. You go there, you kill the drowners, and then there's supplies there. You're like, what are these supplies doing here? And then some Scoia'tael come out there and they basically say, look, we're here to take these supplies. And you can decide, take the supplies, I don't care, I was paid to kill the drows, I'll take the money. Or you can kill the Scoia'tael. Or tell them not to take it, basically. And what happens is that later in the story, in about Act 2, you're investigating something, and then your main source of information about that thing is killed by a Scoia'tael arrow. One of the arrows in which you helped them obtain. So I like that. I really like that there are actual consequences to it. That if you do something, there are going to be repercussions. I really, really do like that. It's one of the few games that actually makes me feel that, shit, I made a bad choice. Or, fuck, that's my bugger, nothing I can do now. That's consequences, let's move on to that. I actually really like that. I really like that does that. So that's why I love the Witcher season. That's so far my experience. Now my experience with CD Projekt Red has been actually overall positive. Now of course I'm sure they're not even aware of who I am. But of course you're probably wondering how the hell I got a hold of these. I didn't actually buy these. Roughly about a year ago, basically, I mentioned in a video that I would love to have one of these Witcher medallions. I really, really would. And one of my subscribers actually messaged me and says they had contacted CD Projekt Red on my behalf, and they says, here's an email this person and they'll see if they can get you them. So I emailed the person, who was Aga. Her name is a Polish name. I don't want to attempt to butcher, but she just says call her Aga. She's no longer working at CD Projekt Red anymore. She was their PR person. She's gone off to work on her own PR company, I believe, now. And basically she says, yeah, we can happily send you some Witcher medallions. And she sent me, I think it's 9 she sent me, and I've actually given away most of them. I have 3 left. I'm keeping 2 personally for myself, but yeah, they sent me one without me just asking. It says I'm a YouTuber. Here's my content. I even linked it to the video that says that I love the Witcher series, and they sent me it. They sent me Witcher medallions out of the kindness of their heart. They could have easily ignored me, but they actually sent me to them, and they're really, really good. And I've actually worn them quite a few times. And then, in fact, I actually still have the. I think I still have the layers here. Actually, yeah, I do. I still have the layers. This is the first one they sent me. For those, by the way, if you don't know, my real name's Derek. Derek, here are a bunch of Witcher medallions in wise you'd like to run in case you'd like to run a contest on your YouTube channel or something from The Witcher and Aga. So yeah, and she sent me her business card and all that. And that was very kind of her. And then she asked me what else would I have liked if I could get it, and I says I don't know, maybe a signed poster or something. And this is the letter she sent me. Hey Derek, here's a little something for you as a thank from the team, Witcher and Aga. And I'm actually going to try my best actually, so let's do a quick edit. I need to try and get this poster. It's going to be tricky, but I'll get it. So yeah, they so it's been on my bed for a little while. I haven't had a chance to hang it up in the time I've got it, but yeah, they actually sent me this. Which is a small poster signed by a couple of the development team. It also says here, for Derek, thank you for supporting us, Aga. And then various other members of the team have signed it. And so yeah, they sent me this just because of my content, and I asked nicely, and she asked would I like if I would have liked anything. I said a signed poster. So they sent me this. So I have a special spot in my heart for CD Projekt Red because I'm small potatoes on YouTube, and even when Witcher 2 was coming out, they were kind enough to actually send me this, which means so much to me. So yeah, I don't know if they know my content. I'm sure this is just something they did for for a couple of people who asked, and maybe Aga liked my content and she did it for a favour for me, and I really do appreciate that. I don't even know how many people at CD Projekt Red watch my content, but if any of you are watching this, know that this how always means so much to me, that you were able to send something to me at the time when I was so small, and it kind of kept me going with my YouTube in all honesty at the time. But it will, once I get a chance, take pride in place somewhere up my wall. I actually would love to have it up here, in all honesty, but unfortunately with the position of my bed, if this fell it would kill me, because I didn't frame this, by the way. They sent me it framed, so yeah. They're awesome like that. So the CD Projekt Red, my experience with them has been nothing but positive, and I absolutely love them for that. And they have my loyalty because they're such an awesome developer, and they've been so kind to my channel and myself. Before anyone asks, I'm not getting sent a review copy of Witcher 3. I did email them about it, but understandable, there are bigger YouTubers out there who deserve it more than me compared to my content. I understand that, so I'm buying it anyway. I was going to be buying it even if they did send me a review copy. Same way I bought Dragon Age Inquisition, the review. Even though I got sent a review copy, I still bought Dragon Age Inquisition. Same with CD Projekt Red. Even if they sent me a review copy of Witcher 3, I would have still bought it as well because I want to support them. They're an awesome developer. I absolutely love them. They are so awesome. I've had nothing but a good experience with them, and I hope that I can work with them in the future, on future content videos with their other stuff. Who knows? Maybe I'll even get a chance to go meet them face to face one day. That would be an absolute delight, so I can actually thank them face to face. But yeah, that's my experience with the Witcher series and CD Projekt Red. I will always adore this developer, and I cannot wait for their future projects with Cyberpunk 2077. And I am super hyped for Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your experience with the Witcher series is as well, by the way. What was your first introduction? Thank you for watching. As always, I'm Scottish Warren Nato. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to click that subscribe button. If you want to help support me, feel free to pop over my Patreon. Other than that, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao for now.